Hi, welcome to my channel. My name is Naomi, and let's dream about beauty. So today I have a get ready with me chatty type video for you. I'm going to talk about my feelings of depression and anxiety, my experiences. I have a couple of different stories for you, and yeah, so I hope that you're ready for a nice long chatty video. I'm sorry this is a long one. It's really challenging to talk about things and do makeup at the same time. So sometimes I get distracted by doing makeup and I forget to tell the story. And sometimes I forget to do my makeup and all I do is talk. So anyhow, if hopefully this is something that you're interested in watching. And yeah, so let's get to it. So I'm going to start out with the Lorac Porefection Mattifying Face Primer, oil-free, paraben-free, fragrance-free. This is a first impression. I got this as a sample when I ordered eyeshadow palette. So we will give this a try. Porefection Mattifying Face Primer. Well, that's what I want. Mattifying is good for this oil factory over here. Okay, kind of like a silicone-y type. Okay, and for the other first impression, is the Smashbox Studio Skin 24-Hour Wear Hydrating Foundation. I just have a small little sample of it and I thought I would give it a try. So I've got no idea how the color is, if the color is good or not. So. Color looks like it might be a little bit on the light side. I just squirted some out on the back of my hand here. Doesn't really smell like anything. All I can smell is this cleanser I use to clean my beauty blender. Well, sponge. My blending sponge. So it's definitely not full coverage. It has a very natural finish. Need a bit more. Probably wonder why I don't pin my hair out, but I don't pin my hair out because I hate the way I look with my hair back from my face. Well, that, and also because I pin it back and then it leaves like indentations, which is probably dumb, because I guess it would be easier if I pinned it back. This definitely has a very natural looking finish. It's very light for me. I think I look pretty white. They just sent me the color it says. Shade 1.05. I'm probably gonna have to bronze this up quite a bit. I thought I would chat today about depression and anxiety. So I know that a lot of people suffer from depression and anxiety, and they tend to go hand in hand. I know for me, specifically, I have some pretty significant triggers that are involve some childhood trauma that involved my own father's mental illness. He coped with depression and anxiety, and as a result there was some traumatic times in growing up for myself and my siblings, and that so the depression exists in and of itself, and I think my depression has a bit to do with feeling a bit purposeless. Like, you know, my kids are getting older, I don't work outside of the home, what is my purpose? But then when I start thinking about taking on a purpose, I get overwhelmed and I start thinking, well, am I going to end up trading, you know, one kind of stress for another kind of stress? But at the same time, it's a, you know, a lack of feeling fulfilled, a lack of, yeah, I guess fulfillment. Hence, one of my goals here being something I'm passionate about, because I think it's important to find passion in your life, and it's not that easy to find always. And I do have things that I'm really lucky about, but when you're deep in the middle of depression, it really looks terrible. Oh well. So I'm laying in bed and it's 2 a.m. and I know that because I wake up and I look over the clock and it's 2 in the morning. And I didn't hear anything. There was this instinct. I rolled and I looked towards the door and a man walked into my bedroom. I lived alone. I was a single mom with my 3 kids, and some stranger just walks into my bedroom in the middle of the night. Well, I thought when I contemplated such a thing happening early on, like before this happened, I thought to myself, you know, I would be frozen in fear. But I didn't even think, like there was not one moment of thought process that went on. It was immediate reaction. I grabbed a pillow so that I had something to hold in front of myself in case he had a weapon. So I thought I needed a shield, but I didn't think it. It just did it. I leapt out of my bed and I hollered at him to get the F out of my house. And he backed off, apologized, said he was drunk, got the wrong home. And I chased him out of the house, and then I phoned the police. And then it was afterwards that I had a nervous breakdown. But it just goes to show you that instinctive, reactionary fight or flight or freeze instinct is intended to be life-saving. And here's the problem, is that for some people, I'm using the Hula Quickie contour stick. For some people, they have triggers. And these triggers go off as if there's something life-threatening. So it's like, imagine that you see a bear in the woods. So if you were to be out on a path and you heard a noise behind you and you look behind you and there's this hugest grizzly bear you've ever seen, what would you think? What would you do? And it's hard to put yourself in that position, but you know that you would feel like your chest was being crushed, and you would think that you couldn't breathe, and you would have this horrible clenching feeling, and your heart rate would speed up. Your body is being flooded with adrenaline to deal with this emergent situation. And then, depending on how much experience you've had with bears, you might know what to do, but there's probably not going to be a lot of rational thought, because you're immediately going to drop to the ground, play dead, run away, freeze, grab a stick, depending on what animal it is. I mean, like, I know with a cougar, you want to become very aggressive. With a bear, you pretty much want to either escape or, well, I've heard play dead, but I'm not sure if that's true. I don't want to be giving advice for wildlife encounters. That's not my purpose here. I tell you, Beauty Dreams by Naomi told me if I was to meet a bear, play dead. It didn't work too well. Anyhow, so you're out in the woods, you see the bear, and you have this horrible, like, gut-wrenching, like, just the fear. Well, imagine if you have some sort of a trigger. And for example, one of mine is being blamed for things I didn't do. When I get blamed for things I didn't do, it takes me back to a place, a way that I felt in my childhood that was extremely painful. And I become that little girl in my mind, and the reaction is very intense. And so that ignites the anxiety, and I start thinking to myself and feeling irrational. It's an irrational thought process. It's not rational because I'm not using my executive center of my brain. The trigger happened, that perception happened, and it, instead of the information then passing to where it's supposed to go, it goes to the amygdala, and you're left with a fight or flight. And for me, often it's flight. And I've had some really bad arguments with my husband where I have been, ready to leave. I'm divorcing you. I'm storming out of the house. Life is over. And then when it first started happening, these were pretty traumatic events. But as time has gone on and he's kind of getting better about understanding kind of what's happening, and he knows better how to help me through it, the events are becoming less and less traumatic. But I mean, like, it's super difficult to go through these kinds of events because inside you're just like, you feel absolutely helpless, and you feel like the feeling is the most painful thing, and you'll almost do anything to have it. You just want that feeling over with, that feeling like you can't breathe and your chest is being crushed and your heart is clenching, or it's beating out of your chest, and dizziness, and this, it's incredibly painful. And you'll do anything to have that pain come to an end. Like, you're just, and I think that, there's a lot of suicides that happen impulsively because they just want that feeling of anxiety to be gone. And unfortunately, I've had situations where I've been out with friends and I've had major anxiety attacks that they didn't really understand. I've been, you know, in front of my kids, and it's been almost debilitating. And so now this situation that we're in with the coronavirus is not helping at all, because I feel like my anxiety is barely controlled. Like I just want, you know, it's because I don't know what to expect. How long is this going to go on? How much, you know, what's going to happen? And all of these unknowns make it difficult. But I mean, right now I'm doing okay. I just want to say that, but I have to really, really control my thoughts and where my thoughts are drifting and how I'm feeling. I talk a lot to my kids about my kind of mental health problems. You know, they know, and I explain things, and I'm really good about, you know, if something happens and we have an incident that's caused by an anxiety, and it's because sometimes I can't always control my reaction, and I always make sure that I discuss it with the kids afterwards, kind of when I'm calm, when we go through what happened, and I apologize if I need to. So, I mean, that's good. I think that's important to do, so that they, you know, they also kind of understand what I'm doing to try to, well, that's a lot of powder, to try to, you know, what's the word I'm trying to think of? You know, they know about the medication I take. They know about, you know, books I read. And I think that it's important because I think everybody has some sort of mental health issue, whether it's anger, addiction, depression, being too needy, being too impulsive. I mean, there's all kinds of different personality disorders, mental disorders, problems. People aren't perfect, and everybody makes mistakes. And I think it's important that children really, you know, that they understand that mistakes happen and people don't always behave the way they should. And I don't know. I'm not happy that I have this problem. I'd like to say when I was younger, it wasn't really something that I dealt with. It's something that's been more recent, but having, you know, the number of kids that I have and sort of the situation that I've been living in is definitely not helped. But I mean, when I look back, now that I know what I know, because it took me a long time to find the words anxiety. I don't know how many of you watched The Walking Dead, but you know that moment when he wakes up, when Rick wakes up, and he's in the hospital and he just has absolutely no idea where he is or what has happened. You know, that happened to me. I had a very serious anxiety attack, and I took an Ativan, and 5 minutes later I was still in all kinds of emotional turmoil, so I thought, well, it probably wouldn't hurt me to take another one. And then I don't really remember what happened after that, but I know that I took more than one Ativan, and of course there was no intention. I wasn't trying to kill myself, for sure. I just wanted these really bad feelings to go away. And my husband took me to the hospital, and they kept me there overnight. My husband went home, and when I woke up, I had no memory of the event. And I was terrified. I didn't know where I was. I didn't know if I was dreaming. I didn't know if I was I didn't know if I was awake. I didn't know what reality was, and it was terrifying. And I have to say that I was not very happy with the hospital because they could have done a better job of handling the situation for sure. They were not what I might have hoped for. So I'm curious to know if anybody else suffers from these kinds of things as well. Just trying to decide what blush to use. I'll use my Kaja stamp. See if I can figure out how to use it better than the other day. It's just it can be so debilitating and so isolating because there's like multiple levels where you hate yourself for you know, for feeling the way that you feel, and for this lack of control, because there's, you know, there's a portion of you that's aware and watching this anxiety attack playing out, and you can be horrified by what you see, and yet you're unable to stop it. And you can see the look on your husband's face or on your friend's face or on your children's face, and you just think, oh my God, what am I saying? What am I doing? So, you know, it's definitely an unfortunate thing. And I certainly hope, because I think that there's a lot of people who suffer from this same debilitating illness, and I certainly hope that they're able to access, I hope that they're able to access the help that they need right now, because I would imagine that a lot of the online, or sorry, I was going to say the counseling sessions have been moving to more online kind of ideas. So yeah, I really don't like that foundation. Maybe if it was in a better color for me, and my under eyes look very patchy. Anyhow, I don't take Ativan anymore, so you don't need to worry about me. The doctor prescribed some new medication for me in December, and it's been very helpful. So I've still had a few anxiety attacks, but nothing to rival what I have experienced in the past, that's for sure. Okay, so I'm really not liking how my under eyes are looking. I don't think I powdered under my eyes. For eyeshadow today, I'm going to go in with the Huda Beauty Mercury Retrograde. I've got no idea what I'm going to do. So, I guess the idea with sharing this is, you know, it would be nice to know if other people, you know, experience anxiety the same way or if they experience it differently. I know my dad didn't seem to exhibit too many signs of anxiety. It was more like major depression is what he suffered from. And like I said, for a long time I didn't attribute the word anxiety to what I was feeling, but it was certainly helpful to have language to use to, you know, classify or describe or understand what it was that I was feeling or going through. But I'm very fortunate in who I chose to marry because he accepts my anxiety as being part of me, and he knows that the flip side of overthinking everything, worrying about everything, is also caring a great deal about other people. Worrying also means I care very much. I'm very sensitive to other people's feelings, and I'm very genuine and not at all callous. I mean, I take everyone very, you know, everyone's feelings very seriously. Too much so. But it's not necessarily a bad thing. So that's interesting because this color is quite, right here, it's quite brown on the palette, but it goes on quite pink. This is so pretty. Okay, I'm just going to, I don't know really what I want to do. I think I'm going to use this one maybe. See what happens. I'm a woman with no plan. Just playing it by ear, seeing what happens. This JH32 is by far my favorite blending brush. Just has that, it's like a little bit scratchy, and it just really, like, not uncomfortably scratchy, but it just really blends things in really well. So yeah, I mean, I guess that it's important to, like, what I tell myself. I do have a journal that I keep, and says, "In the midst of our lives, we must find the magic that makes our souls soar." So it's a journal, like a kind of like a bullet journal that I keep, and I try to remind myself of things that I'm grateful for, of things that I'm happy about, and also, you know, the silver linings, like I was saying. Like the flip side of anxiety might be, you know, like an extraordinarily caring person. I saw something funny that was that depression and anxiety are like caring too much about everything and caring about nothing. It's like, Sorry, I have to comb out my eyelashes. My eyelashes are starting to fall off, and oh, pretty soon I won't have any. And I'll have to go back to the struggle of putting strip lashes on, which I am terrible at. Okay, now what? It's very pink. Alright, I think I'm going to put this, I'm going to get a smaller brush. I was watching a video by Alexandra Anele, and she said that the darker you go, the smaller your brush should be. So in other words, generally speaking, you want the darker colors to be what you're using in your crease or in the corner of your eye to add dimension. And your lighter colors are what you blend out with the bigger brush. That was an interesting way of thinking about it. She actually has some really good videos, how-to videos on blending eyeshadow that I highly recommend. She just did a new one recently. But she did one about 2 years ago, and I watched that, and it sure taught me a lot. I will link her channel in the description box if I can remember. So with the smaller one, I blend a little bit, but I really keep it to a small area. And I'm going to go into this bigger brush. The other nice thing is that I've been sleeping a lot better, so which means I actually don't watch as much YouTube as I was, but I was watching a lot of YouTube, and I was watching it at night because I couldn't sleep. So I would be up at 2, 3, 4, 5 in the morning watching YouTube videos. I watched a lot of makeup collection videos. I love those because it was like I could turn my brain off and just watch all this beautiful makeup, all these, like, I love eyeshadow palettes. And I love watching people's collections. I still do. Like, I love declutter videos, and I love makeup collection videos. They're awesome. Okay, so one more brush smaller size down for this Vortex shade. Just gonna, and that's just right in the corner there. But I don't know, I started on my new medication and it was like a light switch. Like December 23rd, I still remember. We went to Mexico on the 24th. So on the 23rd, we did Christmas. So I got up with everyone. We got up around 8:30 and opened presents. And then got up early on the 24th. And the 25th, I was in Mexico and I was the first one up. And I went to sleep at like 10 o'clock at night. And then I've been doing that ever since. I think part of it might be too that I'm taking hormones now, so I'm on hormone replacement therapy as I'm turning 48 at the end of this month. So, my God, 2 years away to 50. Oh, it feels like craziness. Well, I guess I'd, you know, Can't take anything for granted. Making it to 50 is better than not making it to 50, I suppose. Okay, so I'm just gonna... Well, blending's pretty good. I'm just gonna take my blending and clean blending brush, and I'm just gonna go around and blend out the edges. Okay, so now I think I'm gonna do something wild and crazy. And I am going to put this incredibly beautiful blue color right here. This one is called Mercury onto my eyelids, and maybe it's going to look terrible and maybe it'll look good. Who knows? Ever since I swatched this blue, I've been wanting to use it. It is so pretty. Like, I don't think that the camera does the color justice, but I am going to spray my brush. See if I can, oh yeah, see, there you go. I hate getting eyeshadow on my eyelashes. But it's unavoidable. And I hate putting on strip lashes even more than I hate getting eyeshadow on my eyelashes. Another little spray. Hopefully my audio works better this time. If it doesn't, I'm gonna be mad. I probably should have tested it, but oh well. Okay, I'm gonna get a smaller flat shading brush and I'm going to put, I think, Super Moon in the corner. I'm gonna spray it. I'm going to put Super Moon in the corner. And try to blend it a bit up into the corner. Just lighten this a little bit. Trying to have a bit of a gradient color. I think the problem at the hospital is that they see so much addiction that I don't think that I didn't get, sorry, I'm switching over to Galaxy. This is not really working. Okay, well, that's better. I don't know that when, you know, true cases of sort of this where I'm like, you know, I'm genuinely in distress. I'm not a drug addict. I'm not, you know, blah, blah, blah. I mean, and even if you are a drug addict, right, you should still, I think, be treated with humanity and kindness and caring, and I just didn't really feel like that was something that I received. Okay, I'm just going to go back in with a smaller brush and darken up the corner a little bit. And then I think I'm going to pick up more of this Mercury color. I'm just going to bring it over a little further. Wasn't very successful with lightening up this color. Okay, so I'm just gonna go off camera here, and I'm going to do my eyebrows, clean up some, do my eyeliner, my eyebrows, clean up some. Okay, so eyebrows are done. I also redid under my eyes because they were looking unbearable. And I'm just going to powder. Just a little bit of the Peach Perfect powder under my eyes. The powder smells so good. Okay, now to go in with setting spray. I don't have my brush or my fan, so I'll just, you know, okay, so now I'm going to do my under eyes. So for those of you who don't know, I don't tend to like a blown out under eye, but I think in this situation, and I don't really do my inner waterline because my eyes are super sensitive and they water easily, but I have the perfect blue to go with this blue, so if I can just get it to work, that would be awesome. Oh, it makes my eyes water so much. And it all just comes off. Okay, and then, let's see, what do I want to use? Under eye. I'm going to go in with the darkest color, Vortex. Mascara on the bottom with my little baby mascara. Sorry, I'm just going to mascara the top a little bit, make some of these lashes stay in place. let's do a bit of color up here. I'm going in with Galaxy, which is pink, light pink shimmery shade. I'm gonna redo my inner corner. Makeup, I love the eyeshadow. I think the eyeshadow looks super pretty, but I hate the foundation. My skin looks god awful. What a pretty palette. All right. So, lips. What do I want to use? What do I want to use? Let's use. I used that one already. Oh, I thought I grabbed. Oh, here it is. Stila in Perla. Sorry, I don't know if I was on frame there when I was applying it, sorry. You could probably just hear me going. I'm in love with this Essence Shine 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 lip gloss. So nice and yummy cool tone color. Right, so that's the finished look. Thanks for listening to me and my thoughts on depression and anxiety. Thanks for checking out my Get Ready With Me. I really hope that you enjoyed the video. Time is our most precious resource, and when you spend some of your time with me, I think it's awesome. And wherever you are in the world, day or night, I hope that you're well. I hope that you're healthy. I hope that you're surviving the pandemic. And I hope that your mental health is robust and well. And if you ever need to talk, I'm here. Thank you so much for watching, and have a great day. Take care.